The international break is over with Arsenal set to return. A Saturday morning fixture against Nottingham Forest is looming. So today we'll get the breaking news ahead of the game. We'll also find out about the big changes that happened during the international break, break down a Mikel Merino Masterclass, and discuss if Eberechi Eze is about to make his first ever Arsenal start. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bass14. Welcome back to your boy's channel. I have been away for a week. I've been recharging elsewhere, but now your boy is back and we've got a lot of Arsenal to break down. So as per, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's international excellence. Let's just say this international break has been very eventful, with many Arsenal players shining all for their countries. The place to start, of course, being Spain's Mikel Merino. After starting in Spain's first game against Bulgaria, a game they won 3-0 and Merino scored 1 goal, the real focus has to be that game against Turkey, as Spain smashed in 6 goals, and Merino scored a hat-trick, 9.7 rating on SofaScore, with 2 key passes and 1 big chance created. Scoring a hat-trick inside an hour, he has now got 6 goals in 6 games for Spain, just a week after the Arsenal fans were questioning why did Mikel Arteta start a defensive midfielder over Ethan Nwaneri when Ødegaard wasn't able to start. But I think that's where things need to change. For as much as a perspective on Mikel Merino is that he's a defensive midfielder, having seen him now produce 19 goals and assists in 25 starts in 2025, it is time to turn the 6 upside down because this is a 9 now. Mikel Merino is not a defensive midfielder. His strengths lie going into that final third, crashing into the box and placing the ball into the back of the net. Because as the numbers show, even prior to him being used as a striker last season, Merino ranked as the highest player in the entire Premier League for non-penalty XG per 90 versus other Premier League midfielders. That's what Mikel Arteta would have seen. The reason why he turned to Merino as his striker, despite having the likes of Leandro Trossard available. Arteta recognised straight away that Merino has ability in that final third, because his finishing ability is very good instinctively. And to notice that, all you have to see is his finishing catalogue. The way he's able to finish first time, from that goal against Real Madrid he placed into the back of the net, to even the goals that he was scoring for Spain, Merino has got an innate ability of not overthinking finishing. He knows where he wants to place the ball, and then has the ability to place it exactly there. Not going for power, but more for placements. There's a reason why coaches see him very differently to the fans, and it's about time that we change the narrative that he's a defensive midfielder and see him as a more box-crashing secondary striker, because his goal numbers are speaking for themselves. But if we're talking Spain, you also have to focus on Martin Zubimendi, from dropping an 8.0 SofaScore rating in a game against Bulgaria, with 1 assist, 69 passes, 2 key passes and 2 big chances created, even against Turkey dropping a 7.1 rating. Despite Rodri being a part of the Spain squad, Zubimendi was still seen as a starter. So when speaking on Zubimendi, as Rodri says, he is a great player. He has the discipline and the mentality that can lead him to become one of the best, if he isn't already. I spoke to him the other day and I told him it was his time, that I was leaving him the keys to the team. It all dates back to that Euro 2024 final. Rodri of course starting but taken off at half-time via injury. Zubimendi came on and made an impact straight away as Spain went on to win the trophy over England. But that's where a recent report becomes very interesting. According to the Gunner blog, the framing for the Martin Zubimendi was agreed before Andrea Berta joined the club. Had he been in the situation earlier, there were other candidates for the number 6 role that he favoured, indicating that Berta had his own targets that may have not been Mikel Arteta's. But instead Mikel got his man, a player that has arrived into the Premier League and made an impact straight away, having intercepted more passes in 8 than any other player in the Premier League this season. But talking of Arsenal midfielders, we've also got to talk about a change. A change in haircut for Arsenal captain Martin Ødegaard. Forget the hair flicks because now things are getting serious. In a week where the Arsenal captain started 2 games for Norway, he was also asked about the Tony Adams comments, suggesting that Declan Rice should be the Arsenal captain instead. Ødegaard's response is, "I don't care that much. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion and say what they want. I live with that. You can't care what everyone says. There will be a lot of positive and negative things that can affect me. It's important to just block it out. I have done this my whole career." But he's also a player that is carrying Norway to the 2026 World Cup with an overall 8.32 Who Scored rating. He currently ranks as the highest rated player in all of European qualifiers. So after starting in Norway's first game against Finland, the real masterclass came against Moldova, as Ødegaard dropped a 10 rating as Norway smashed in 11 goals, with 1 goal, 2 assists, 135 touches, 8 key passes and 2 big chances created. This was a mesmeric performance. The Norway captain completely dictating the game. As shown by his heat map, he was almost everywhere, playing as a pure number 10 able to drift to the left and right hand side. The assists themselves were very important. The first, a lovely through ball to Erling Haaland, who was able to finish from the left hand side, but then you had the pass from before the halfway line. A lovely through ball for Erling Haaland to chase, which got every Arsenal fan thinking, imagine Ødegaard could play that type of pass for Victor Gyökeres, a man that thrives off through balls running in behind. I sense the Arsenal captain has realised, with the arrival of a brand new striker, adding that through ball more often into his game will only allow Arsenal to score more goals. So let's talk about Arsenal's brand new number 14, starting in both of Sweden's World Cup qualifiers. from getting an assist against Slovenia to a 7.2 rating against Kosovo. Even though the performances had no goals, I did see a lot of social media scrutiny, and it makes me wonder, why is Gyökeres being looked at from a different light? A signing that also spent £55 million on, but is getting treated like he's worth £100 million. Every touch scrutinised, every pass scrutinised, with even former United legend Paul Scholes laughing at a comment made in the recent overlap that said that Gyökeres looks like he's playing in jeans. But this is one thing that people need to understand. Victor Gyökeres across the entirety of his career has always thrived on being criticised. A player that's out there with a point to prove, as shown by a celebration against Leeds. They talked about him fixing his hair, he then scored 2 goals, and showed the media world that he's not scared to fight back. Then you had the Arsenal boys playing for England, as all 4 of Declan Rice, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Merino Madueke and Eberechi Eze started for England in the game against Andorra, with all 4 lining up together before the game, and that's why I want to focus on Declan Rice. After getting a goal against Andorra in the 2-0 victory, as well as 2 assists against Serbia, he now has made more key passes with 9 than any other player in England's opening fixtures of the UEFA World Cup qualifiers. When you then focus on his goal against Andorra, you'll see a midfielder that's playing defensively, but not scared to crash the box on the left-hand side, following a lovely ball from Reece James. Rice was able to head the ball into the back of the net. And it makes you start to realise on a market where so many teams have spent so much money, the £100 million spent on Enzo Fernandez, £100 million spent on Jack Grealish, Rice is one of the very few players that a team has spent that level of money on, but is rarely criticised for it. So with multiple Arsenal players thriving for England, as Merino Madueke said, loads of Arsenal players got the call up, and I'm really happy to be here with the boys. For a player that set up a goal against Andorra, then also scored his first ever England goal in the following game against Serbia. From a 7.4 rating against Andorra, with 3 key passes and 2 successful dribbles, to an even better 7.8 rating against Serbia, Madueke now has 4 goal involvements in his last 8 England games. And these 2 performances are really eye-opening. Arsenal fans finally starting to realise what exactly Mikel Merino saw in this signing. Madueke is a wide forward that is naturally very direct, at times even relentless, because he always wants to make things happen. With a level of aggression shown against Serbia and Andorra, Arsenal of course currently are without Bukayo Saka, set to return only in a matter of weeks. But to have a wide forward now also of this quality, the more that Arsenal fans start to watch Madueke, the more they realise there is a quality player there. And for Arsenal, what an international player. Merino scoring 4 goals, Rice getting 2 assists and 1 goal. Likewise in the case of Martin Ødegaard, Madueke's first England goal, as well as a Gyökeres and Zubimendi assist. The Arsenal players are primed to return for that first game against Nottingham Forest. They have gone away with their countries, and they have certainly done their business. So moving on to the next step, as Arsenal approach a very busy September, with games against Forest Athletic Club, then Man City, Port Vale and Newcastle, not only do we have the return of the Premier League, but you also got the start of the Champions League. And as confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, a certain Gabriel Jesus is not a part of the Arsenal squad for the Champions League, which makes a lot of sense because of the fact he won't even be available until November. But one player that was included was 15-year-old Max Dowman, potentially able to become the youngest ever player to play in the Champions League. The focus now turns to Saturday, our first league game back at 12:30 against Nottingham Forest, a team that have made a major change. Following the sacking of their long-term manager Nuno Espirito Santo, who helped them of course get into Europe last season, there were the reports that he had a fight with Ødegaard, and that is the reason why he's been sacked. The replacement though of course is very intriguing. Ange Postecoglou, former Tottenham Hotspur manager, will take charge in his first ever Forest game against the Arsenal. But in terms of players that will be available, according to Simon Collins, Arsenal hoping that Ben White could return to the squad this weekend after missing the last 2 games. It will be a boost for Mikel Merino, with games against Newcastle and Man City also coming up. Arsenal will also have for the first time Piero Hincapié, a player of course also international duties with Ecuador, as he dropped a 7.4 and a 7.2 rating, not conceding a single goal, even against Lionel Messi's Argentina. In fact, for Hincapié playing for Ecuador, he has only conceded 1 goal in his last 11 games for his country, further showcasing the quality that Arsenal have in the defence now, with even Riccardo Calafiori thriving for Italy. But one player that Arsenal won't have available this weekend is William Saliba. As reports in France confirm, Saliba will be out for 3 to 4 weeks, and according to more reports, Arsenal hope that Saliba will be returning for the game against Man City, but for a defence that currently ranks 2nd, for total XG conceded, only behind Newcastle. The main focus for Arsenal fans of course is going to be on the attack. Gyökeres will start and likewise Madueke, but who is going to be that left winger? Let's talk about Eberechi Eze. After Arsenal released the behind the scenes of Eze watching himself walking out at the Emirates Stadium, you could see a player whose dream had come true, but then away with England and starting in their first game against Andorra. Here he was alongside Merino Madueke, both having a very great time behind the scenes. So after being left on the bench against Serbia, against Andorra he was starting as a number 10, dropping a 7.0 rating in a game that he easily could have scored. The role that he was playing was also very intriguing, because he was playing like Martin Ødegaard, a pure number 10 playing behind the striker. Not only was Eze occupying great spaces, but he was also running in behind defenders. So after making his Arsenal debut against Liverpool at Anfield, maybe then he wasn't ready to start. For a player as perfectly summarised by Billy Carpenter, you don't sign Eze to become more like your team, you sign Eze so your team becomes more like him. Arsenal finally have a Maverick on that left hand side with the ability to be an absolute game changer. This is how I believe Arsenal will line up. With Raya and Go on a back four of Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel and Calafiori, the midfield trio of Rice, Zubimendi and Ødegaard, with a front three of Merino Madueke, Victor Gyökeres and Eberechi Eze. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash the like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of the social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today. I was away for a week. I'm sorry if you guys missed me. If you didn't, and it is what it is. But my boy, we're back. And you know what? Arsenal, if you can get that win against Nottingham Forest, then yes, things that you love to see. As your debut, we'll wait to see as well. And I'll see you next time. Take care. In a bit.